Well, the Volva kona in Old Norse, it means the staff-carrying woman. And they were the spiritual leaders of Northern Europe, really all the way into the Bronze Age, predating the Vikings by 2,000 years. And these were the women who carried the culture through, performed the ceremonies, and they were living outside, Utgard, outside of the culture, and went to visit all the different areas. And one of the reasons that they lived outside of the community was so that they could approach the community with a fresh perspective, unencumbered by the politics of the area, or the relationships that tend to color people's vision. Because one of the things that the Volokona would do is read what's called the Urlag, which is a little bit like Norse karma, if you will. The Urlag of each individual person kind of comes together to create the web of weird, or the fabric of relationships within the community. So having a fresh perspective from one community to the next is very important. In Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities, in the Midwest, well, Minnesota had 850,000 Norwegians immigrate here within 60 years, back in the turn of the last, well, I don't know, like how many centuries ago. Here we are in the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. And the whole Midwest was sort of saturated with Scandinavian and Germanic people who carried the immigrant traditions with them. But we had been kind of cut off from our pre-Christian traditions for several centuries before that. And so one of the things that I think people find now is that they're not really relating as much to the immigrant traditions of their grandparents, and yet they're longing for their roots. And so digging deep into our roots and finding out what our pre-Christian traditions were, and kind of pulling those threads up and mending them into the immigrant tradition has been sort of the basis of my work, and really the focus of my work since 2003.